media could care less. The media thinks, Jim Acosta was saying it earlier this week, when Jim Acosta said earlier this week that, well, Trump supporters, he said people who take Trump seriously. He didn't say Trump supporters. He said people who take Trump seriously, which, how can that not mean Trump supporters? He tried to say we took him out of context. No, Jim, we know exactly who you meant. He said they are going to attack journalists because they're not smart enough to understand what's going on. They're not smart enough to understand that Trump wants nothing, right? Trump doesn't want to attack journalists. And show me any instance anywhere of Trump supporters getting violent with journalists. No, we are calling you out on your lies. And by the way, I've got to show you this. So I've got to read this, right? This is how far beyond they are. This is how far beyond they are. Let me read to you the actual award that was presented to CNN. I'm going to read that to you. The actual award that was presented to CNN just before Michelle Wolf went on her hate screed. Michelle Wolf did 2 minutes hate, by the way. If you've read 1984, you know 2 minutes hate. That's what Michelle Wolf was doing. It was 2 minutes hate, and it was 2 minutes directed to Donald Trump, Trump supporters, Sean Hannity, Fox News, Sarah Sanders, Kellyanne Conway. 2 minutes hate against all of us. But here's the award. This was an award given. The Merriman Smith Award for Broadcast goes to Evan Perez, Jim Sciutto, Jake Tapper, Carl Bernstein, CNN. These 4 journalists and a number of other CNN reporters broke the story that the intelligence community had briefed President Barack Obama and then President-elect Donald Trump that Russia had compromising information about Trump. The CNN team later reported that then FBI Director James Comey personally briefed Trump about the dossier. Thanks to this CNN investigation, the dossier is now part of the lexicon. The depth of reporting demonstrated in these remarkable and important pieces and the constant updates as new information continued to be uncovered showed breaking news reporting at its best. There you go, folks. There you go, folks. That is what won the award at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. A lie. A lie about the dossier. By the way, James Comey disputes the story. James Comey himself says that he did not brief Trump on the dossier, that he did not provide a 2-page executive summary of the dossier, that he only told Trump in the meeting about the Russian hookers. Okay, so, and I thought it was funny that, of course, James Clapper, the other CNN employee, didn't go up there because, of course, he was the source of the story that leaked the briefing to Jake and Evan and Jim Sciutto, because he wanted to set this up to give the dossier credibility. We know the dossier has no credibility. They couldn't give the dossier credibility. So, by the way, the dossier was never, think of it, folks. The dossier was never actually briefed to Trump. Okay? CNN claimed it was. The president claimed it wasn't. And James Comey said it wasn't. But CNN said it was. Jake Tapper said it was. Okay? Go with me on this now. Go with me on this. So James Comey and President Trump both denied the story. But CNN put it out there. And the White House Correspondents' Dinner gave them an award for reporting a lie. A lie that was told to them by James Clapper, who wasn't even in the room. And they gave them an award for it. Folks, I don't even know what to tell you. The amount of arrogance and elitism by this group of people knows no bounds. And meanwhile, these are the same people calling President Trump a warmonger and a homophobe and a racist while he's ending the Korean War, appointing the first gay ambassador to Germany, and hanging out with Kanye West, all in the same week. They live in a different reality, and they have chosen, deliberately at this point, to live in this false reality. Comey did not deliver a 2-page executive summary. He didn't give them a dossier. And yet right here, the award not only says that that Comey personally briefed Trump about the dossier. Right there. Right there. That's false. James Comey says that's false. President Trump says that's false. And then right there in the next line, it tells you, thanks to this CNN investigation, the dossier is now part of the lexicon. So right there, it tells you, okay, right there it tells you why they did this. It tells you that they did this to bring the dossier into the lexicon. But James Comey didn't brief Trump about the stuff on Carter Page, about the stuff about George Papadopoulos, about all that other stuff that was going on in this dossier. They didn't want Trump to know that the dossier was there, because they didn't want Trump to know that there was a counterintelligence investigation going on, because they didn't want the president to know that they were investigating him, okay? So think about this. Think about this. They gave themselves an award for a lie, and then run around telling themselves that they are the arbiters of truth in America. It was, I mean, just from an intellectual standpoint, it was fascinating to me to see this and to watch this and to think that this is what it's like on the other side. This is what it's like in their reality. But folks, it's just not true. And as we've reported and as we've now seen was admitted in the reporting, this was all false. So if you think of it as an award for propaganda, well then of course you would have to give that an award. You would have to give this story an award, because this was the largest piece of propaganda that had been written in like the last 2 years. If you remember, before that report came out, they're absolutely correct. They're absolutely correct in terms of propaganda. So I'm thinking of it as the propaganda awards, because prior to that report, even the mainstream media treated Russiagate as a joke. Nobody thought it was serious. They all thought it was a partisan, a complete partisan attack on the president. All right. But we now know that briefing in and of itself was a setup, so that then they could go on CNN. Read the Comey memos. He all but says it. Read the Comey memos. He all but says this. They were looking for a news hook. So then they briefed it to the president. And it's because they briefed it to the president, suddenly it was newsworthy. And suddenly they could talk about it. It It was a setup from start to finish. It was a setup fueled by propaganda to give credibility to the Russia allegations. So I'd say yes. I would say yes. This was the largest piece of propaganda that's been perpetuated on the American people in the past 2 years. And yes, if you're giving out propaganda awards, it deserves one. Jack Posobiec, veteran United States intelligence officer.